Rand Paul sends a secret text to Trump, save me, save my little thing. And we're going to talk about how this actually influences the midterm elections, because Trump should not go with this with Rand Paul unless Rand Paul learns to play ball. Plus, huge trouble for Tim Walz. This guy's getting busted. This guy is getting flushed out over with all the corrupt Somalis in Minnesota, their fraud that they're doing under Ilhan Omar. Welcome to Doug in Exile. This is where the happy patriots are as we expose the left. This is why you never put an X next to a Democrat, because they're corrupt as H. This is Caroline Levitt, the press secretary, posted this one first here. Trump administration uncovers massive foreign trucker illegal license operation in Minnesota. This is how they get their licenses to drive truck. My brother, big brother, is a truck driver. And these are people competing with his wages, driving his wages down, because you can get these cheap illegals to come in if you can just get them an illegal license. Same thing which Gavin Newsom did in California. So this is just one tiny piece of the scandal. But wait, it gets better. Here's the kind of stuff that Tim Walz is doing with getting medical leave program for Somalis, for illegals.
Insurance program for you that allows you, again, to take care of what you need to take care of without being forced to choose between your family, your bonding with your child, your own health, and your economic well-being. Because in Minnesota, you can do both. And we proved that time and time again.
Surrounded by all white liberals, but they won't be using the services. It'll all be a bunch. Show the Somalis in their kafila terrorist scarves. Wait, there's more on him. This is the Oversight Committee. We launched an investigation into allegations of massive fraud under Tim Walz's watch in Minnesota. If you're an employee or have information, Chairman Rep. James Comer, the great James Comer, wants to know, fill out our whistleblower form to help us get to the truth. If you guys are in Minnesota and you've done any work for Tim Walz and you've heard anything or know anything, here's the website, oversight.house.government/whistle/. So they're putting the call out we're going to get some whistleblowers to rat out Tim Walz, because it won't be a Democrat either. They'll only be Republicans. Now here's Rand Paul begging Trump for help, he's on Bloomberg TV to discuss the health care plan, HSAs for all, health savings accounts for all, which I'm all for those health savings accounts, tax deferred. You put the money in, you get a savings account. Buying insurance across state lines would keep it competitive, because then everyone in California could buy them from other states, and real negotiating power for millions of Americans through places like Costco, Amazon, and Sam's Club. What do you guys think of that in the chat below? Here's Rand Paul getting ready to beg Trump for a big favor. Will you support my bipartisan effort?
I've got to ask you about healthcare, Senator. Just a couple of hours ago, you probably saw this, the president posting on Truth Social what appears to be a screen grab of a text that you sent him. Is that real? Just for starters, is that a text that you sent the president?
I did, and I've engaged with the president because I've worked with him before and still want to work with the president. In the first administration, I engaged with him on something called association health plans. These are group plans that individuals can buy. So, for example, the biggest problem we have in healthcare is that if you're a small business person, say you're an accountant and you have 3 employees, you want to buy insurance, you go into the individual market and you have no leverage. And if one of your employees gets cancer or you get cancer, they jack up the risk for your really small risk pool. Instead, what I'm proposing is you should be allowed to go anywhere you want to buy insurance across state lines, including places like Costco, Sam's Club, Amazon. And then if you became one of millions of people buying insurance, Amazon or Costco would negotiate directly with the insurance company and say, look, I got 10 million people who want insurance, and I'm negotiating for them. And all of a sudden, they become the largest entity in America.
And they drive the price down. But that's not the big deal to me. The big deal to me is, Rand Paul, you little runt, if you're wanting to work with the Trump administration, maybe vote for the big, beautiful bill. Maybe support his agenda instead of always being a vote against Republican vote. That's how it works. Do you want a favor from Trump and get your bill passed? I like the partnership between Rand Paul and Trump. I don't like when it's Trump throws him a favor and then Rand Paul throws a stick in the cog every time Trump needs something. Here's that text that they were talking about. This is a private text between Trump and Rand Paul, and I've got the text here. This is what Rand Paul sent to Donald Trump last night. Rand Paul, I know we've been at odds. Yeah, not we've been at odds. Rand Paul, you've been at odds with the Trump agenda. I know we've been at odds recently, but in your first term, you signed an executive order to legalize association health plans that allow individuals to buy collectively health insurance via Costco, Amazon, or Sam's Club. This collaboration brought us together and still holds the promise of lowering insurance premiums. All Trump should text back is say, will you sign my next bill when I need your vote? That's all he should say. You say, you sign mine, I'll support this. You don't sign it, I will fire this into the ground, is what Trump should be telling him. He said it did not succeed because Democrat attorneys generals fought it in court. We could pass it in Congress today with your help. Please, Don, help me now after I stabbed you in the back. It costs nothing and simply changes labor law to allow people to buy insurance as a group from retailers. Let me know if this is something you might want to partner on. From Rand. I like this proposal. I'm for the principle of it, but I also believe that he needs to play ball with Trump. Here's more from Rand Paul. Obamacare destroyed the real choice and sent premiums soaring. True. Doubling down on subsidies won't fix it. So that's what the Democrats are asking for. Schumer's saying you have to fund Obamacare for the next year to make, because the premiums are so outrageous. It was always unaffordable. It was always going to be this kind of bad. My Health Marketplace Savings Account for All Act empowers consumers. It will legalize nation-building co-ops and allow every American to have an HSA. No new taxes, no new subsidies, real reform. True. I hope Trump backs this, but I hope Rand Paul plays ball. Because here's the lesson that Rand Paul needs to learn. This is from Rep. Troy Nels, who I love.
I know,
I'm not doing what Marjorie did. I'm staying. I'm not doing that. So I'm going to fulfill.
He's not doing what Marjorie did. He's not quitting. He's staying and finishing his term.
My term.
Yeah.
And we've got a lot of work to do in transportation, pilot age, other stuff. But I tell you, the most important thing that we have to do, and in Congress, you got to understand this. If we lose the House, it's over.
Yeah.
If we lose the House, the boss will have to do everything through executive order. And we're going to see Al Green waving his cane because he's going to run another district, by the way. So he's going to wave his cane and we're going to have impeachment, investigation, impeach.
If we lose the House next year, guys, we got to get on board. But it's not Troy Nels, who's a patriot and amazing Trump fan, that's the problem. It's Rand Paul. Rand Paul, can Trump count on you? Or do you want him impeached and investigated and made a lame duck in 2026? Rand Paul needs to come into MAGA and support Trump, not just on his little individual bill, but the entire agenda of helping Republicans win in 26, or as Troy Nell says, it's the entire game, guys. That's why I'm emphasizing this right now. Here's Ted Cruz. He gets it.
It's going to be a turnout election, and the left will show up. Hate is a powerful motivator. They hate President Trump. It doesn't matter. He could cure cancer. He could feed the entire world and they would hate him. There's nothing he can do to change that.
This is supporting last night's Nashville win for Rep. Van Epps, which Trump endorsed. And this Ben socialist witchy pooch, it got trounced. But this is about the future election in 2026. Ted Cruz is saying it. We have to win. It's a turn out the vote. And people aren't always as interested for just Senate and House in 2026 because the big rock star president isn't on the ticket. We're going to have to go down ballot and drag all of our friends out to vote in 2026. Are you on board, In Exile people?
What we've got to make sure is, number one, that conservatives show up, but number two, that just the common sense middle, regular people who, what is dangerous in an off-cycle election is people that are feeling complacent, like things are going well, I'm happy.
That's the danger in the election, guys, that we feel like there's nothing at stake, that it's just some boring mid-level area. Here's Trump smashing the Somalis and Ilhan Omar in Minnesota for their ripoff, which Tim Walz is going to pay.
That's good. I hear they ripped off Somalians, ripped off that state for billions of dollars.
Yes, they
billions.
did. Yes, they did.
Every year, billions of dollars, and they contribute nothing. The welfare is like 88%. They contribute nothing.
They're sapping welfare.
I don't want them in our country, I'll be honest with you.
Yeah, kick them out.
Somebody would say, oh, that's not politically correct. I don't care. I don't want them in our country.
I don't care either. If they're illegal, get out. I don't care what nation you're from, by the way. This isn't against blacks. I don't care if there's white Somalis. Get them out if you're illegal.
Country's no good for a reason. Their country stinks, and we don't want them in our country. I could say that about other countries, too. We don't want them to hell. We have to rebuild our country. You know, our country's at a tipping point.
Yes, it is.
We could go bad. We're at a tipping point. I don't know if people mind me saying that, but I'm saying it. We could go one way or the other, and we're going to go the wrong way if we keep taking in garbage into our country. Ilhan Omar is garbage. She's garbage. Her friends are garbage. These aren't people that work. These aren't people that say, let's go, come on, let's make this place great. These are people that do nothing but complain. They complain. And from where they came from, they got nothing. You know, they came from paradise, and they said, this isn't paradise. But when they come from hell, and they complain and do nothing but bitch, we don't want them in our country.
Yeah, Ilhan Omar, we don't want you in our country either. Show some gratitude. Jump on, become an American patriot, and we would see Somali immigrants as different if they came in and embraced the Constitution, embraced our rule of law, and didn't just sap all of our welfare. Now, we're going to end on this one. Tim Walz getting nailed. Tax dollars for terrorists. These are the Somalis.
Terror group linked to Al-Qaeda. Justice Department says it will take a look. National correspondent Jeff Paul has details.
They're calling for an investigation. 4 Minnesota Congress members addressing the state's U.S. attorney, demanding answers after a report claimed taxpayer dollars were ending up in the hands of Somali terror group.
There's the Somali terror group. Look at the guns and look at the kafila terrorist scarf.
Al-Shabaab.
If you're paying taxes for services you expect and things you expect your state government to provide, those taxes should not be going to a terrorist group in a foreign country.
What do you guys think? Isn't that just common sense? I love how the Republicans just say this common sense thing. If you're getting tax dollars, maybe you shouldn't be funding a Somali terrorist organization. Tim Walz is under investigation. He's going to get nailed good. Stay on it, guys. And we got to save this Trump administration in 2026 by getting out to vote. Can we count on you? I'm Doug in Exile. Subscribe.